afternoon and good evening to you, the good people of the tube. Hope you're today, hope you're grand in your world. Hello there! Welcome to another Q&A Wednesday! So yes, let's get straight to it. Question 1. Okie dokie, so question 1 today. What's a good way to figure out songs by ear? Is there an easy way? I find it takes time. Simply put, figuring out things by ear takes a long period of time to develop your ear. It's not something that happens overnight, it's not something that happens in months, it's a thing that happens over years of doing it. You know, I'm still training my ear to do it now, and I've been doing it basically on my entire guitar playing life, so it's a thing that you constantly kind of like develop. It's just when you think you've got it, you haven't got it, and you have to work at it a little bit more. So, and it's just a case of doing it over and over and again and learning. But one way I figure out songs is this way. I'm going to show you it. And this has always helped me. I always try and kind of like figure out the kind of melody, if you will, or find the notes on the low E string. If that makes sense, well, hopefully it'll make sense to say. So this is the way I figure out songs. This is what works for me. So for instance, I've got Iron Man here on my laptop, all kind of queued up. So for instance, like if I'm trying to figure out Iron Man, and I listen to it. So first chord is this. So I would stop there and go, hang on a minute, go back. Where's the first chord again? So it's and I would go. That one sounds right, and we all know it is. It's in B. So that was how I would do it. I would listen to that first chord and go, right, where is that note? What is that note on the low E string? Because you got to bear in mind, like you've only got 12 notes on the entire guitar, and you can't use all of them at the same time because they'll sound horrible. So find the kind of like the first chord note on the low E string. So for instance, Iron Man is B. So you kind of like go, oh, it goes nah. So it's that note there. So that's the first one. So the next one's da. So it's higher. So obviously, you know, it sounds da na. You can hear it go higher, so you come up more this way. Not right. Nope. There it is. So it's just a case of finding it out on the low E string. I hope this is making sense. I hope it's kind of like, you know, is quite clear. So like, yeah, you've got your first kind of na 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 na. I've got the hands, I don't know what I'm good. But yeah, you can kind of figure out those notes and you kind of hear it in your head. Just using your ears to go, well, does this sound right? No. So why doesn't it sound right? Let's find the actual note. So where's the da-da-da-da-da-da? Nope. There it is. It's just a case of finding it all on the low E string, finding those root notes, the bass notes, so to say, of the song. That's the way I figure out songs. I find if I can't hear the bass, or the guitar doesn't have a very kind of strong low end, I struggle to kind of hear. I can't figure out songs off my phone because I can't hear the bass guitar. I can't hear the kind of like the root, because so you need a really good kind of like, you know, CD thing, really, you know, really good kind of way of listening to music. So hope that makes sense. Hope that's kind of like, you know, an idea of how you kind of like figure out songs a little bit easier. Just try to figure it out on your low E string. Find the root notes of the song and kind of go with that. So hope that's answered your question, and yeah. But again, there is no easy way, there is no quick way of learning to use your ears. It just takes time, it takes years to kind of develop it. But yeah, keep going at it. Try that. Try trying to find it on the low E string, and yeah, go from there. Okay. So question 2 now. Question 2 comes from Jason. If money was no object, what would my dream rig be? Good gravy. Well, look, I'm very lucky in the fact that I own my dream rig. My pedal board that's just off shot down there, yeah, I've done a video on it before, is kind of like, that's my home pedal wise. Like everything I've got on there is all I need, preferably, you know. I don't really want anything else other than what I've got there. It kind of makes me very happy to have what I've got there. Amp-wise, I own my Dream amps as well. There's the Marshall MG, the CR120 and the Peavey Bandit. Those 3 amps are kind of like my kind of go-tos. No matter what, I just love them to bits. They are just like, they do what I want, they sound how I want to sound. They have that sound that I've got in my head, and I've always had in my head. They just, whether I'm plugging in my pedal board or just straight in, I can get the sound I want in an instant. So I'm kind of lucky in that way that I have found that kind of dream kind of sound, so to say, really. My dream kind of setup. It just works for me no matter what. Really, I just love it. You know, I do love playing, obviously, other amps, but I always come back to like the Marshall MG, which I'm going through at this point in time, or the CR120, or my Peavey Bandit Red Stripe, which is just the best combo I've ever played. It just is awesome. But hypothetically, or theoretically, let's imagine those 3 didn't exist. What would my dream rig be? If money was no object, I would love to have an original 60s super bass. I used to play through one when I worked in Old Hat Guitars. I used to play through one. It was a '68 super bass, and I would love one of them because they are just awesome. Not all of them. I've played through a couple that are terrible, but there was one that was just absolutely incredible. It was just sounds so good. I would love a super bass. So just something about the old super basses that are really very cool. They have just big fat warm sounds. That'd be one amp. Another amp would be, if money was no object, definitely original Silver Jubilee. I'm probably shocking you because they're valve amplifiers, but you know, it's true. It's probably basically John Frusciante's rig. You know, a Plexi and a Silver Jubilee. I would love that setup. It's maybe just because I'm a John fanatic, and obviously a Jimi Hendrix fanatic as well, having a Plexi. But that setup would make me very happy. If money was no object, it would definitely be that. Pedal-wise, I could talk for hours on pedals, but I'm pretty, like I say, I'm very happy with my pedal board, what I've got. So I'd probably stick with my pedal board that I've got and just have those 2 amplifiers if the MG, CR120 and Peavey Bandit didn't exist. So that's that. I want to know now what your dream rig is if there was no money in the comment section below. Tell me your dream rig. If money was no object, what would you have? So, moving on to question 3 now. Can't talk. It's all gone wrong already. Anyway, question 3. Let's get on to question 3. This is from Alex. Please demonstrate how I would go about writing my Untitles. That's really hard to answer because I don't really have any kind of set thing. The Untitles are just improvisations on the spot of what comes out. Like, some Untitles where I'm just playing without a backing, that's just come out legit. I've pressed record on the camera and I've sat down and I've played, and that's what's come out. Ones where I'm using a loop is basically I've gone over to wherever I am with a loop pedal and I've just laid down, I've just basically kind of clicked record on the looper and just played through a couple of chords that just kind of like flow from wherever. And then once that's kind of recorded, I'll just press record and then just put a little solo over the top of it. I don't think I've ever done a 2-take Untitled. I think it's always been first take, because that's the whole purpose of the Untitled, is to capture that moment in time where literally you're not thinking, you're just playing, and it's just flowing. I have tried to do Untitles before where it hasn't happened, and obviously they've never made it onto YouTube. But there's no real way I go about writing them. It's just a case of I will sit down with a guitar, press record on the camera, or I say record something with a loop pedal, and just see what comes out. Like the thing at the beginning that I'd played in this video, literally picked up this guitar, which I'm not going to tell you about just yet, and that came out. I don't have any conscious thought about how or why. I just started playing it. It was not. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write this, and it's going to be in this key, and I'm going to use this. It was just totally unconscious thought of sitting down and playing guitar, and that's the way I like to be. I don't like to sit down and overthink the guitar. I just like to play it. I don't spend hours thinking about theory and stuff like that. I've learned all the theory I want to learn up to this point in my music life, in my guitar playing life, and I don't really like for that to get in the way of whatever's been beamed into my head to come out of my guitar, or to come out, you know, through me, through into the guitar and out the speakers and to you gorgeous people out there. So there's no kind of like real kind of way I go about it. I just like press record and I play unconsciously, just switch my brain off to the world and just play, and it's lovely. I love it. It's my best. It's the best place to be. You also asked a question, Mr. Alex, about how did John write music. I have no idea. I'm guessing it wasn't too dissimilar. It was just a case of like picking up guitar and playing, most probably, and then just kind of layering things up. I don't know if John had preconceived ideas. Probably did on some of his stuff, quite a lot of his stuff probably, but I'm not 100% sure how John would write his music. But yeah, that's how I do mine. It's on the Untitled. It's just a case of click record on the looper or the camera and just play and see what comes out, really. And if I don't like it, I delete it, and if I do like it or think it's okay, I'll put it up. So yeah, that's it. So moving on to, I hope I answered that question, and moving on to question, where are we now? 1, 2, 3, 4. Question 4. Okay, so question 4 is from Marcel, and he asks, what's my worst guitar? I'm happy to say that I don't own any of my worst guitars anymore. All the guitars I own at this point in time I really love. Every single one of them. They all play really nicely. They all sound really cool. I just they connect with me. If that makes sense. So I'm quite happy to say that I don't really have a worst guitar at this point in time. But they're all kind of like, I can all pick them up and just be like, oh, this is amazing. You know what I mean? They all make me really, really happy. So I don't have that. But I can tell you of a guitar that I used to own quite a while back that, I could have smashed it to smithereens. It drove me that mad. It was a Fender Light Ash Telecaster, and it was a gorgeous looking guitar. It was like a natural kind of natural colour body. It was just wood. It had a really gorgeous bird's eye maple neck. It was incredible to look at. Seymour Duncan pickups and brass saddles, and it just looked stunning. And that was what kind of drew me in. I was going to go and buy a Tokai Telecaster, which eventually became Joe's, but that's another story. And I saw that, and I was blinded by the Fender logo, and I bought the Fender instead, because it was a little bit cheaper than the Tokai, and it was a mistake. I should have bought the Tokai, but, you know, such is life. Anyway, I bought this Fender Light Ash Telecaster, and I got it home, and immediately it was like, why did I buy this? It was just awful from the get-go. Like, I got it in tune, I would hit a chord and it'd be out of tune wildly. The machine heads failed, the saddles fell, so as you were playing a song, the saddles, the vibration would be sending the grub screws down, so the saddle would start like that, and through the song it would gradually get lower and lower and lower. So you can only use it for like one song, because by the end of the song, the strings would be on the frets and it would be unplayable. The neck the truss rod was crap, it just didn't keep the neck right, the electrics were crap, the entire guitar was just crap. It was absolute garbage. It really was. And I eventually sold it super, super cheap, because I actually traded it in for an Ibanez guitar and a Marshall amplifier, which I gave to my sister because she wanted a guitar. And so I traded it in for that and gave her the guitar, because it was just like, you know, I thought some good's got to come from this guitar, and that was it. So, but yeah, it was awful. So, anytime I've seen a Light Ash Telecaster since then, I've kind of cringed. It's like my kryptonite. But yeah, that was the worst guitar I've ever owned. It was a Light Ash Telecaster, and it was utterly, utterly terrible. Again, though, it could be subjective. It could have just been the one I had was absolutely crap. The one made before it was brilliant, and the one after it was made brilliant, but that one was made absolutely rubbishly. It must have been a really bad day at the factory that day. Anyway, that's the worst guitar I've owned. All the guitars I own now I absolutely love, and they all connect with me. The one guitar, if I'm going to be nitpicky, the one guitar that does get on my nerves is my John Strat, but it's only because of the fretwork on it, isn't very good. It's probably the kind of like, it's got a lot of dead spots on the neck, and that kind of annoys me a little bit. But other than that, the guitar is stunning. But yeah, that's me like literally nitpicking. But yeah, so that was my worst guitar. Moving on, question 5. I think. I don't know. Ooh, question 5. Where did my Peter Green t-shirt come from? Joe bought me it from eBay for my birthday. eBay! The site of kings. Okay, so 6 questions this time. The last question is, what amp should I buy to gig with? Thinking of buying a Vox AC15 VR, but it needs to be able to play over a drummer. I wouldn't go for the AC15 VR. Having played the AC30 VR, I know for a fact that wouldn't go over a drummer with a 30 watt, so the 15 will really struggle. So the 30 might do it if you mic it up, but miking up sometimes is a bit more of an ache than it should be, so to say. So I would definitely say, maybe if you want an AC15, I would say it's a great home amp, and the AC30 is an awesome kind of home amp or recording amp. But live, if you're after a combo, there's the, I'm gonna, sound like probably sound like a broken old record, but the Orange CR120C combo is brilliant. Also, the CR60 is really loud for gigging. I haven't actually played through a CR60, but a guy at a gig I had was playing that, had one, and I was kind of dribbling on it. And he said, "Get away from my amp, you're dribbling on my amp." And I was like, "But I love it." But anyway, moving on. Yeah, the Orange CR120C and the CR60 are brilliant. The CR60 wasn't mic'd up, and it just cranked over the drummer. It was so loud. I couldn't actually believe it, and it was on the floor as well. I was like, how on the floor can that little, because the CR60 is tiny, like how can it be that loud? But it really is. And the CR120 combo is absolutely awesome. I mean, I would love one. I really wish I could have kept the one that Orange sent me to demo, because it was just awesome. That and a 412, I think I would love that as a setup. The 212 combo and my Orange 412, I think that would be kind of like, coming back to the Dream Rig thing, I'd probably love that as well, but such is life. Also, there's the Peavey Bandit, the red stripe one that I've got. I can't rave about that enough. I'm actually going to do a shootout video soon between my red stripe and my silver stripe Bandit, to see which one kind of like you prefer and which one I prefer. I haven't actually done that yet. I'm going to leave it for the video and decide on the day. But yeah, the CR120C or the CR60 by Orange, the Peavey Bandit, or the old Marshall MG 100 combos, or the 250 stereo combos, the MG with the 2 speakers, they are amazing. I really want one of them. They're kind of like that amp is missing from my collection, because I would hoard all the Marshall MGs if I had the money. I would have so many Marshall MGs, so many CR120s, and so many Peavey Bandits. It would be absolutely stupid. But yeah, I would recommend either one of those 3. Like this, 4, sorry. Yeah, the Orange CR120, the Orange CR60, the Peavey Bandit, red stripe if you can get your hands on one. Not a lot of people want to part with them, and I definitely see why. Or any of the older Marshall MG series, the HDFX, the DFX models. The newer ones, I can't stand them. I think they're absolutely atrocious. So yeah, any of those 4. Anyway, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this Q&A session. I hope it's answered your questions. And yeah, I'll see you again on Friday for a guitar lesson in Mr. John Frusciante. In Mr. John Frusciante? That sounded weird, man. I don't know what that was. Anyway, John Frusciante guitar lesson on Friday. I'm going to go lay down now in a dark room. Goodbye now. Have a great morning, afternoon, good evening. Ha!